I didn't see anybody who had broken the mold and said, you don't need to ask for permission from that anymore. Who are you? What do you want? Because you know that little voice is talking to you and that thing that says there's more. Getting diagnosed with cervical cancer while 7 months pregnant. And then so now I go from like baby planning, baby shower, la la la, my new baby, to like, who's going to raise my daughters? Who's going to raise them? Am I going to die? But I couldn't let my mind go there. And my survival instinct just fucking kicked in. I'm surviving this. I'm going to get through this, whatever that looks like. I'm going to do this fucking fighting. This could have stopped me in my fucking tracks. This could have broken me down. But I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live like that. If I can just talk to them and say, I see you and I know it's hard, but you have the ability to come through this. And if anything I can say to you at all ignites even a spark for you to feel better, to feel like you want to take that next step, my job is done. My life is just starting right now. Yeah, like this is fucking launch time. The time is now. This is launch day.
Welcome to Cake for Dinner. This is not your everyday mom podcast. We laugh, we curse, we tell the truth, and we're here to ditch the perfection culture. Today's guest is Gina Zapanta, attorney, entrepreneur, founder of Empowered with Gina, and a woman who's built a powerful community around growth, reinvention, and helping women step into the next version of themselves. Gina Zapanta, welcome to Cake for Dinner.
Thank you.
Well, so I'm so excited, first of all, to be in LA today talking with you. I really just want to get to the heart of Empowered with Gina. Like, what does that mean? What empowered you? Let's start with that.
So Empowered with Gina was a platform that organically grew. It didn't grow as an idea. It grew from an idea of being in COVID, being isolated, and understanding people wanted to come together. Remember how popular virtual parties were, virtual meetups, virtual. I was doing that as well. And I would put out on my Instagram of my 200 followers, family and friends, hey guys, if anyone wants to connect every Tuesday at noon, I'll just put on a Zoom and let's connect. Here's the link. Fast forward, that grew. And I realized the common conversations that were being had by women who kept joining these Zooms, which turned into what is now Empowered with Gina. I formalized it because I realized through my journey in life, there really wasn't someone who showed me that I already had the permission granted in me to have the life I wanted. I saw everyone and heard all of the, the channeling that this is what a woman should be. This is what a good mom does. This is what a good daughter does. This is what all the cultural programming and societal programming, I understood that, but I didn't see anybody who had broken the mold and said, you don't need you don't need to ask for permission from that anymore. Who are you? What do you want? Because you know that little voice is talking to you and that thing that says there's more. What is it? I kept hearing those conversations through these virtual meetups. And now what we have is this incredible community, this platform that shows women you have agency, you have community, and actually resources that show you that you have the permission already granted in you to create this life that you feel whatever that is for you. And so it's become this beautiful, beautiful, empowering space.
It really is. I happen to know from my own story and all the women that I've interviewed, typically when you have a powerhouse such as yourself that's able to truly empower others, there's a story in there.
Yeah.
So what's that story?
So the story is I grew up here in Los Angeles, born and raised, East Los Angeles area. I didn't grow up the typical, I'm Latina, Mexican-American descent, and that meant something to my upbringing because statistically we are underrepresented, were and still are represented in higher education and society. But my dad was an orthopedic surgeon. And so I grew up being an other for most of my life. I still very much feel that, but also that my parents came from, nothing, came from struggle, they shattered the glass ceiling, basically. That journey started when I was younger, always feeling othered, but seeing like, wait a minute, there's more for us. Statistics say we shouldn't be here. Statistics say, or society tells me I'm a woman, I'm a girl, I should grow up, get married, get the job, get the white picket fence, get the things, have the kids. Something always felt wrong about that to me. And I always had this kind of like reaction. It was always visceral. It still is a visceral reaction to what they tell me should be done. And it started by seeing my parents not doing that, not living
Right.
that way. And they were not traditional, like in the sense of, people say, oh, well, you're Latino or cultural. They're very conservative. My parents were not, thank goodness. They were on their own journey, also trying to figure out with this newfound success and wealth that they had, what that meant in navigating that. And so through that, have created my life and have gone through just so many different iterations of challenges and opportunities, and seeing the through line being, I am not, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I am a solid, good human being, even though I didn't follow those paths you told me that were the only way to linear success. I don't believe that. I'm going to do it my own way. And so, I mean, there's a lot of things that happened to get me there, but I can say my childhood and seeing my parents, whether they knew it or not, that was channeling to me like, oh no, we go above and beyond. And it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter your background. It's the mindset, the
Yeah.
powerful mindset versus a powerless mindset.
My story is very similar in that, I have been through many challenges, but I believe that the resilience was woven in early,
Oh,
you know? Anything that you've gone through that sort of took you detour from that?
Getting diagnosed with cervical cancer while 7 months pregnant, that wasn't fun.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. And
Wow.
yes, 7 months. Think about it. I'm planning my baby shower, my second daughter. I was so happy to get pregnant to have this sibling for the first one. Everything's great. I had founded a business which was thriving at that point. It was finally starting to make a little money. I was married to my first husband, no longer my husband, but I was I had everything you should be happy having. And so I was trying to do that life, and then bam, diagnosis. 7 months, you start getting a lot of checkups towards the end.
Yes.
I started having some weird symptoms, and the doctor's like, I want to just check something that I see in there. Check. It was stage 1 cervical cancer. And so they're like, look, this is a really critical time in the baby's development. These last few weeks is the lung development. And so they're like, we need to let the baby gestate as long as possible, but we also have to balance your health. Because you're pregnant, you can't get radiology. We can't really scan to see what's in there. And there's no treatment. You have a baby growing inside you. So for about a month, it was, okay, this thing's just growing, literally,
Now,
the
what a
cancer and the baby.
crazy feeling.
And then so now I go from like baby planning, baby shower, la, 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 my new baby, to like, who's going to raise my daughters? Who's going to raise them? Am I going to die? But I couldn't let my mind go there. And my survival instinct just fucking kicked in. And I'm like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I have to do. I'm surviving this. I'm going to get through this, whatever that looks like. I'm going to do this fucking fighting. And thank goodness my Valentina was delivered a month early through C-section, and I had to have a total hysterectomy to take it out. And thank goodness she just turned 10, and that was the only thing I needed to have a hysterectomy. And what came with that, though, is PTSD.
Of course.
Anyone that's had any kind of like life-threatening illness, especially cancer that can reoccur, it's with me every day, and I work very hard
How does it show up?
through anxiety,
Mhm.
through not being able to enjoy the peace and the quiet. I've not felt peace in 10 years.
Mhm.
It's always there. The beautiful side of it is that it created the opportunity for me to go through surrogacy to have my 2 boys with
Mhm.
my new husband, my current husband, as I used to say. Um, and so in that struggle was beauty and opportunity still, which I
Mhm.
believe is always there. On every negative, ugly negative, there's always gorgeous, beautiful, positive. You'll figure it out at one point or another. And that was that for me, the opportunity to explore surrogacy twice and have my beautiful boys.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so the resilience, right?
Yeah.
This could have stopped me in my fucking tracks. This could have broken me down. Surviving it or not surviving it, it could have defined me in the worst way possible.
Yes.
But I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna live like that.
I've interviewed so many women at this point, and the stories are wild,
Crazy.
of resilience and overcoming. I don't think that rising is unique to you or me, right? Like,
Mhm.
I do think women have been rising since the beginning of time. But what I do think is unique is rising and then teaching other people to rise. I do think that that is different.
Mm.
People get stuck along the way with, how it impacts them, or maybe they don't have a desire to do that,
Mhm.
But your story is unique in that way that you overcame this, you rose,
Yes.
and now you spend every day trying to help other
Yes.
people rise. Tell me a little bit more specifically about Empowered with Gina, how you do that, and some of the, like, feedback you get from the women.
So I think about it a lot, like, why am I doing this? And even my sister will ask, she goes, do you ever stop and think like, why you don't have to be doing this?
Yeah.
I'm professionally an attorney. I have my own law firm. That's thriving and wonderful. But I've set it up in a way to allow me to be the silent partner,
Mhm.
the marketer, all the things, but to grow empowered with Gina because that speaks to my soul and it speaks to me because I know I'm a humanist. I'm an empath.
Mhm.
My cup gets full when I communicate, when there's that connection, right? And again, going back to my journey, knowing that there was not that example for me when I was young, when I was, the other in the room, never feeling welcome, always being
Mhm.
the only one at the table. I always thought I belonged at the table. It wasn't that for me. I was just always the other. And then even going through my health journey, my divorce with 2 young kids, my, starting business after business, that's terrifying. I know how alone I felt. And that to me, I feel like, wow, if I felt alone, how else does somebody feel that doesn't have the network support resource or just someone to talk to
Mhm.
or turn to? And I see how people get stuck. I see how people they create the obstacles themselves
Mhm.
because they believe the channeling that's been told to them, the programming that's been told to them. And I'm like, if I can just talk to them and say, I see you and I know it's hard, but you have the ability to come through this. This is my story. This is how I did it. You can think I'm full of shit, but I'm not because it works. And I walk the walk, I talk the talk. And if anything I can say to you at all ignites even a spark for you to feel better, to feel like you want to take that next step, my job is done. And I'm not going to convince everyone. That's not what I'm trying to do. But that one person will say yes or no in their life and it'll pivot and take
Yes.
them a different trajectory.
You're just kinda like a natural walking teacher. I noticed
Yes.
earlier when we were talking off camera, and I said, "If my book blah, blah, blah," and you said, "When."
When language is everything, language is spells. Language is spells. Our brain, neuroscience here, your brain communicates through synapses. The neurons talk to each other through synapses, which is like the highway between both neurons. The neuron is like the thought. This is the recurring thought. Well, I hope I'm not good in social settings. Well, I'm shy. Well, hopefully one day. Well, maybe. That synapse is like, well, maybe, 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 maybe. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it when my book is.
Mhm.
Oh, well, maybe my book will, hopefully, maybe. No, my book's going to be successful. Your brain will follow what you speak.
The interesting thing with me is sometimes I get tripped up on the humility of it because deeply inside I know it's going to be, but then I'll say that in an effort to sort of not be.
Everyone.
Yes.
So
So
not too much.
so
Yeah,
that's like an
going on.
interesting thing too,
But think about it. This is programming of a woman. This is exactly what Empowered with Gina focuses on. Because every woman has that conversation for whatever one way or the other. Men have never said that. Men don't talk like that. I'm building this business. I'm writing this book. When I do this, it is finite. Their
Mhm.
language is finite. They've been treated as such. We have not. We've been treated opposite. And again, Empowered with Gina shows us that we have the permission to also do that. We have become subservient and kind of on autopilot based on the programming that is designed
And
for
we
us.
do it with other women, which is interesting, right?
Mentality. It's you don't want to be outside the herd because something's wrong with you then.
Mhm.
You're not like the others. Oh, look at her. Who does she think she is?
Right.
Yeah, she wrote a book. Okay. There she is showing off again. Ah, that. You don't want that because that feels weird. That feels hurtful. That feels,
Yeah.
I want to be accepted. That's why we don't do it.
Yes.
But I'm over acceptance. I don't care if you accept me or not.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit that much either. This whole social media thing has forced me into a whole different, like, version of myself.
Wait.
It really is enjoyable. Like, even my husband was like, "I feel like you're walking different."
Yes, you are. It's liberating.
It is liberating. It really is
Yeah.
liberating. What are some of the things that you see from the women that come to you?
Hmm.
And what would you, if you had to categorize, like, what are the few things that Empowered with Gina is addressing?
Mindset.
Yeah.
Understand again, it is the powerless versus a powerful mindset. It is a choice every single person has. It is free. It's easier or harder for everyone. It's relative. Somebody doesn't have it easier than you. Stop saying that. Stop comparing yourself to everyone. Focus on yourself. So mindset number one, you have the ability and the permission to think different, to think opposite. You want that opposite life. You want those goals. Guess what? It's going to require a different mindset. So mindset is one. Number two, language. What we just did.
Yep.
The power of language. You want to reach the mindset, you have to set yourself up for success. You have to learn to speak that way. And then ultimately community. Birds of a feather flock together. If you want to be a billionaire, if you want to be in the best health of your life, you want to be sober, you better be hanging out with people that do that and think like that and operate that way. The big part of that is breaking away from family, toxic family. Toxic friends and colleagues, that's more understandable to break away from.
And easier.
But the family, we've been told. Okay, blood is thicker than water. That's the phrase everyone knows, but I know I'm saying it wrong because there's a longer phrase to it. But you know what I'm saying. Everyone's like, well, it's your family. You just got to accept it. No, I don't. We were told as a little kid we have to accept the freaking creepy uncle or the weird-ass toxic aunt or the, like, emotionally abusive mom or whatever it is. I don't believe that. I have permission to say no. And in fact, boundaries and creating the community through my mindset, through my language, is how I'm going to do that. It will be hard. Doesn't make it wrong. It will be.
Was it hard for you? I feel like some of that is innate.
A lot of it is innate for me, which is why I'm an able communicator of it, because I'm so determined and I can make those decisions in nanoseconds. All of us have the ability to do it through our intuition. We feel it in our gut. Our gut brain is so much smarter and stronger than our actual brain. Listen to that little voice. That's the answer for you. And so everyone has that. Everyone has it. And learning to listen to it and disengage from the programming, disengage from being on autopilot. Like, oh, well, when I'm around a bunch of women, I don't want to sound like a show off.
What do you suggest instead?
Promote yourself.
Just leading with yourself.
Yeah. And guess what? Speaking to community, those women will likely fall off because one, you're going to be like, none of them support me. They're passive aggressive. I know they're talking about me behind my back. And likewise, they're going to be like, she's crazy. Who does she think she has to have a book? The community will fall off. You will resonate and find your tribe because then you will find people you talk to and they're like, I wrote a book too. I've always wanted to write a book. And that's growth.
Yeah.
And you're creating this life now versus just staying in these fucking silos and these bubbles we're forced to be in. We think we're forced to.
Self-induced.
Self-induced. Yeah. We don't see it that way.
You don't. Yeah.
Gina shows you that.
I went to, are you familiar with Glennon Doyle? She's an author. I went to see her speak. It was probably like 10 years ago. And I was just enamored by her storytelling, just her ability to just be so frank. And she said, if anyone in the audience is jealous, or if you're ever jealous of someone, it typically means that you should be doing what they're doing. Let me tell you what, that was the beginning of my book.
Wow.
That's how long it took me to really take a look at that. But I remember sitting there and thinking, I have to write a book and I need to be on a stage talking about my life in this manner. I so resonate with her and her delivery. And it's taken me 10 years to do it, but she was so right. I was as jealous as a woman could be.
And it speaks less about the people you were jealous of and more about you.
Yes.
And so I talk about that. I say, especially because of social media, in nanoseconds, we can be comparing ourselves to so many people. They're rich, they're pretty, they're skinny, they're this, their marriage, their kids, all the things. That is our sign. That is the gift of intuition. If I am jealous of someone or triggered by someone, that is my signal to me to lean in hard. I wish that, and then I do two things. One, I wish that person enormous success. I tell myself that to create that synapse, that conversation. I wish them success. I hope they reach their dreams. Number two, what about them triggers me? This is not about them. This is me. If I'm uncomfortable, what work do I have to do to get comfortable with it? Period. Oh, it's so good. The breakthrough is so empowering.
Yeah, it took me so long to get to that. I just felt jealous.
Not easy.
And the feeling kind of left there. And I was, you don't want to acknowledge even to yourself that you're jealous. So you're also working hard to deny that.
Oh,
so that just puts more barriers in between you and the growth that you need to have.
Yep.
What do you think women in their 40s and 50s are finally starting to realize about themselves?
I think what we've talked about, hopefully, they're at the point where they're like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And two things will happen there. You'll start regretting, like, oh my God, I did all this stuff up until this point, and I should have. You'll do that and go down that crazy regret rabbit hole. Or you'll say, my life is just starting right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking launch time. I needed to go through 40, 50 years of my life to get through the next 40, 50 years of my life.
Mhm.
The time is now. This is launch day. Today.
Yes.
I hope that's what women are starting to see through platforms like
It
you, through
feels
me.
like it.
So good.
I actually just went to this convention, I guess it's called Mom 2.0.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And it felt like it. It was like being around thousands of women who are on launch day. It was like a really wild experience. So I do think it's happening. What's something you stopped needing to prove that brought you more peace?
My ego. My ego. And again, that goes to the conversation of accountability. Looking at yourself is uncomfortable. Saying I'm jealous, I'm insecure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried, I'm scared, I have anxiety. That I feel people are more comfortable saying like, oh, I'm anxious, I have
Yeah.
anxiety. That for some reason is acceptable.
Yes.
But saying I'm jealous,
Oh,
I'm insecure, I have FOMO, all those things,
mm-hmm.
it's the same concept. So I think once we realize all of that is generated from belief and ego, then and you can deconstruct it and work backwards that way. I'm just doing what aligns intuitively according to my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make everyone happy. That's not my job. I was told it was my job. I lived that way for 30, 40 plus years. No more. No more. And my ego, if it's hit, that's an opportunity for me to stop and look at why do I put so much energy and belief in that moment? It's
Mm-hmm.
not about that person. What about my belief in my ego do I want to do away with? Because it's not real. That hurt, that ego hit, that's not real. It doesn't exist unless you say it does.
Right. And when you speak from that place of it existing, just so much more negativity and victim.
Oh gosh, victim mindset. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
So what's next?
Oh, what's
You.
next? It's so wonderful. So we're growing. So in my ecosystem, there's not just Empowered with Gina. Again, I have my law firm, and we're growing on representing clients and advocating. I'm a huge advocate of democracy and humanity,
Yeah.
and proudly so. Uh, so the firms are growing and expanding, and Empowered with Gina, we have this platform that now has membership. I'm working on curriculum that can be put into groups, schools, events, etc. I'm working on a book, which is not going to be
Amazing.
autobiographical. It's going to be more of a workbook journal.
Okay.
So hybrid, some of my experiences, how I speak about it, and then prompts and something that people can keep.
So more of a
with them.
guide,
A
really.
guide, a roadmap.
Amazing.
A roadmap about the permission's always been here. This is how you can reach it more quickly than doing it by yourself. And continuing just to grow and say yes. The answer is yes, no, what's the question? And just growing my family. Between my husband and I, we have 6 kids.
Wow.
I know. He had 2 from his first marriage.
Okay.
My 2 girls from my first marriage. And together our 2 boys. And so being mom, and I always say that last on purpose
Mm-hmm.
because we've been told to put mom first
Yeah.
to validate us, to show that we're good women. We're being good women. Look at me. I love my children. I'm going to tell you I love my children. In fact, they annoy me. In fact, I really enjoy not having them around in my me time.
Yes.
Every single woman felt that. And they want to agree, but they know if they agree with me, yeah, that, like doing more of that, creating more of those moments and acknowledgments like, girl, nothing is wrong with us. We are doing the best we can with what we have in this moment. And if you feel there's more, let's do that. Let's do that together.
I like what you said about the mom because I feel like it can be both, you know?
course
I
it
can be
can.
a good mom, but I can also hide in my car for 45 minutes in the parking lot.
I'm the best mom because I hide in my car, scrolling, listening to my favorite 90s R&B
Yes.
that they don't want to even listen to anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Why is that not being a good mom? Why is it not being a good mom when I commit to my workout, commit to growing my hobby, my biz, going on that trip without them? They're not invited to everything. I'm showing them, I'm teaching them. What a fucking phenomenal mom. I'm showing them independence and agency.
Right. It's our generation. I feel like this generation of moms is really on that. And you're welcome to all the young moms because we are patterning down such a different baton than we received. I mean, you're welcome again. Like,
Please.
I mean, this is like,
The shame,
yes,
the,
and the
like,
perfection
ooh,
culture, like the fucking car line and the,
oh, you mean you're not making a whole Thanksgiving dinner
yeah.
and then cleaning it up and then packing the kids' school lunches and picking them up and doing grocery shopping and cleaning your house and then being successful at your job? You're not doing that?
Do you know what's so funny? Because I was so attracted. Do you remember, like, when the cooking channel, like, started
Yeah.
a thing? I was so attracted to semi-homemade. Do you remember that girl? He literally would put, like, it would come out beautiful, but she would, like, whip out a can of some shit, dump it in, and then make it perfect, and I was like, "Now that she's smart.
Do it.
She is so smart." And I feel like that's more what we're doing. We're still moms, we're still great, we're still providing, we're still creating, right? But we aren't trapped in the ego
Ooh,
of thinking that we have to, this like martyr thing where we have to
no.
be perfect in like everything and whatever.
Children don't need martyrs, they need models.
Yes. Yeah. I always say, like, in women in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, like, will come to me and they feel guilty, like, about sort of how they've shown up. But I always say, like, I don't think kids really learn from, like, having the crust cut off your fucking bread and a perfect lunch. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like they learn from watching us be, right,
Struggle and
and
how we get
struggle.
through the struggle.
Yes,
And
and
more from that.
living real. You know what I mean? So,
Like, mom doesn't do well. Mom is not involved in PTA or school functions. Why? Because mom doesn't like that.
right,
That make her a bad mom? Other moms will say so. But my mom is, like, so good with her life, the ups and the downs of it, and
right.
she's authentically who she is. Like, wow.
Yes, and being able to say that. I remember my twins were little, they'd ask me, "Mom, why don't you wanna be in this?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I don't have time." With my 12-year-old now, I'm like, "I don't like that shit."
I don't like it.
Like,
Nope.
yeah,
Mm.
what a treat. Well, if what I guess my closing question, what do you really hope when someone lands on your page? Like, what thought or feeling do you hope that they come away with?
I know when people land on my page, they're going to if they're in the time in their life to hear it.
Mm,
'Cause, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
yes.
If they're aligned to hear the messaging, I know they will say, "I found my tribe. I found the resource. I found the place where she is speaking to that voice that's always been there since I was a little girl,
Mhm.
and now she's teaching me how to actually do that." The community, the education, the experiences created allow that to actually manifest, and I don't like the word manifest, but actually make it actionable and come to reality. I know that's what women find. I see it. I see it all the time
When they're ready for it.
when and if.
When and if, right. I love that. Well, if people heard this episode and want to get a little more of Empowered with Gina, where can they find you?
So they can find me at Empowered with Gina or my personal page, Gina Zapanta. You're gonna have to spell that out in the caption.
Okay.
Nobody knows how to say or spell that.
Huh, I will list all the details.
And you can find all my stuff there.
Okay, amazing. Well, tune back in next Monday for Cake for Dinner. And Gina's book will eventually be coming out, and we will be doing
Well,
great stuff together. And thank you so much for coming on.
I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course.